Are you upset that while you were giving birth, your doctor didn't come into the room at all, or just very, very little, and you want to know what's up with that? And do you have some kind of case if something goes wrong? Hey everybody, Frank Spector, birth injury lawyer in Maryland and in DC. Been doing this a very long time, over 35 years, and I've helped thousands of people get the justice and compensation that they deserve. You know, when you're part of a OB practice, whether large or small, especially though if it's a big practice, I think there can be some miscommunication between the practice and you about who's actually going to be there and are they going to be coming into the room and what's that all about? So typically what happens is you are assigned a doctor in your practice and he or she will be the one to see you during your prenatal appointments and making sure everything's going okay, taking blood work, taking urine, doing all the things that they have to do, monitoring the baby with a sonogram, doing all that. And there is some expectation that doctor is going to be the one to deliver. But what happens is doctors, they run in shifts, and when you're part of a large practice, then those doctors are in the hospital only a certain amount of time, maybe 12-hour shifts, maybe less. It's all different. But you may go into labor and delivery, go into the hospital that is, and you may have your doctor with you at the beginning. And then after, let's say especially with a first-time baby, you don't deliver right away and now that doctor's shift is up. So what's going to happen? Well, that doctor is not going to stay with you, especially if the delivery doesn't seem to be close at hand, and somebody else is going to take over, usually somebody else from the practice. Now, it may be somebody that you didn't see before, and maybe you did. A lot of practices have a situation where you rotate and you see everybody, so at least you are familiar with their face. But they're coming on fresh. They haven't seen what's been going on in the last 12 hours, but they're brand new. And sometimes what happens is a new doctor sees something with a fresh pair of eyes and does something different, like an emergency C-section or something, and most of the time everything turns out fine. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes what happened earlier in the evening or the day were problems that were not recognized. That's part one. Part two is what to expect really from the doctor. Is the doctor going to be in the room all the time? And the answer is no. Doctors are probably managing a whole bunch of patients in the hospital. They're coming in and out of the room. They're not really going to stay if you're in early labor. It's not their responsibility to do that, but they will come in as the delivery is becoming closer. Also, if there's problems, if the nurse calls the doctor to evaluate something, certainly the doctor is going to come in. But I know that many moms, and maybe you feel this way too, you're frustrated because you're there for hours and hours and you hardly see your doctor. So rest assured though, that just the fact that a doctor doesn't come in to your room often doesn't mean that there's malpractice there. However, if there are problems and the doctor doesn't respond, sometimes the nurses tell the doctors of problems and the doctor just doesn't come in. They don't think it's a problem or they don't put enough importance on it. Well, that's a problem. And if that happens, well then surely the doctor should be held accountable for not coming in. And sometimes the nurses don't communicate the right stuff to the doctor. And if the doctor knows that maybe a nurse is new or maybe isn't terribly experienced, maybe the doctor should come in more, but that's always on a case-by-case basis. So I hope you found this information valuable. If you're new to my channel, take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button so you can take advantage of all of my videos. It's a free resource for you. I think there's a lot of great information on there if I do say so myself, but seriously, I do put out a lot of content to answer a lot of your questions about medical malpractice. And anytime you want to unsubscribe, there's no obligation to continue to be a subscriber, but I think that when you do subscribe, you're going to get a lot of good content. If you have any comments about anything you'd like me to do in a future video, leave those comments below. I read all the comments and I'm happy to do a video for whatever topic interests you. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again soon on a future video.